Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into two powerful forces that really shape the fabric of Japanese society. Forces that, on the surface, seem like polar opposites: the deep-seated need to be indulged and the relentless drive to persevere.
So here's the big puzzle, right? How can a culture so famous for its stoic self-reliance also have this core idea that's all about indulgent dependence? Well, figuring that out is the key to unlocking Japanese social interactions, and especially something we can all relate to: getting along with your neighbors.
All right, let's start with our first pillar, amai. This is a concept that truly gets to the heart of a universal human desire. You know, that need to be cared for, to feel accepted, and yeah, even to be a little bit spoiled.
Now, this word, ame, was really brought into the spotlight by a psychoanalyst named Takeo Doi. He basically said, look, you can't truly understand Japanese relationships unless you understand ame. It's that feeling of wanting someone to take care of you, to dote on you, almost like a child with a loving parent.
And it makes perfect sense because the word itself comes from amai, which just means sweet. Think about that sweet, comforting feeling of just relying on someone's kindness. In Japanese culture, this isn't seen as a weakness. In fact, it's a fundamental part of building warm, close relationships.
That's exactly how Doi himself put it. He saw amaya not just as some childish phase, but as a basic human need that, in Japanese culture, is totally accepted and even encouraged to continue right into adulthood.
So, think about it. This feeling starts with that incredibly strong bond between a mother and her child. But it doesn't just stop there. It grows to become the blueprint for all kinds of other relationships. With your partner, your best friends, even in the workplace. It's like the emotional glue that holds affectionate, trusting bonds together.
Okay, so we've got this idea of sweet, indulgent dependence. Now let's flip the coin and look at its opposite: a powerful force that drives public action and an incredible sense of perseverance. Let's talk about Gambaru.
Now, you might have heard Gambaru translated as just do your best, but honestly, that doesn't even come close. It's more like do your absolute best and then keep going. It's a call to push through, to endure, to see a tough job all the way to the end, no matter what.
And this is a really important point. Ganbaru is active. It's not about just quietly putting up with things. No, it's a doing word. It's about striving, fighting, and putting in the hard work to overcome whatever's in front of you.
And you can really see the incredible power of this idea in times of national crisis. After devastating earthquakes, slogans like Gambaro Kobe weren't just nice words. They were a collective rallying cry, a promise from the entire nation to persevere and rebuild together.
So you're probably thinking, hold on, a deep need for indulgence on one hand and a relentless drive to persevere on the other. How do those two things even exist in the same culture? It sounds like a total contradiction, right? Well, not quite. They're actually two sides of the same social coin.
And the secret is that they operate in completely different worlds. Amai is all about the private sphere, your intimate relationships where it's safe to be vulnerable. But Gambaru, that's the engine of the public world. That's for work, for the community, for society at large, where duty and strength are what matter most.
So how do people know when to use which? Well, there's a whole social toolkit for that. You have concepts like hane, which are your true private feelings, and tatame, which is the public face you present to the world. These, along with a healthy dose of social restraint, or enyo, help people navigate which mode to be in at any given time.
Okay, so let's tie this all back to our original thought. What does this whole framework of private indulgence and public perseverance actually have to do with something as normal as your relationship with your neighbors in Japan? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with it.
When it comes to your neighbors, it really all boils down to three key ideas.
First, appreciate the formal distance. Your relationship with a neighbor happens in the public sphere. And what rules the public sphere? Ganbaru. So that politeness, the formal greetings, even that little bit of distance, that's not a sign of being unfriendly. It's actually an expression of mutual respect, a shared commitment to keeping the community harmonious.
Second, recognize the collective spirit. Just watch what happens during a community festival, a neighborhood cleanup, or especially in a crisis. That public-facing Ganbaru spirit completely transforms. It becomes this powerful, collective force for mutual support and shared duty. The focus shifts from just doing your part to everyone working together for the common good. And finally, number 3. Understand the sphere of intimacy. This brings us right back to amai. That vulnerable, indulgent, deeply personal dynamic is reserved for the private sphere. It's for your family and your absolute closest friends. It's a treasured part of those relationships, but it just doesn't belong in the public-facing world you share with your neighbors.
Of course, none of this is set in stone. As the world becomes more and more connected, it raises a really fascinating question. How will Japan's unique balance between private dependence and public perseverance evolve? Will it shift? Will it adapt, or will it endure? That's a cultural evolution that's definitely worth watching.